In the survey of Irish DNA, scientists at Trinity College spotted a very curious link. A large number of Irish men all have one peculiar genetic marker, which suggests they're all direct descendants of just one man who lived around 1600 years ago. The search was on to find this mysterious ancestor. This unusual genetic marker generally passes unchanged from father to son. And it was found that today, 1 in 10 Irish men have it. But when they looked at where these men lived, county by county, a very striking picture emerged. In the northwest of Ireland, 1 in every 5 men have this marker. Is it possible that such a high proportion are all blood relatives?
But we found one anomaly in that northwest corner. About 1 in 5 males seem to share a genetic fingerprint. Now, that means they shared a common ancestor, and it begs an explanation.
In the Donegal senior football squad, we found 6 players who have this unusual genetic marker. And up to now, they had no idea they were related sometime in the distant past. The scientists were able to calculate the time period when this one mysterious man was alive. Given the huge number of his descendants around today, he was most likely a very powerful person in politics and in sex.
It seems to be a truth that in many societies, powerful men have more children.
In the end, the weight of evidence points to just one man. A famous high king reputed to have brought St. Patrick to Ireland as a slave.
We've found the Y chromosome of Niall of the 9 Hostages, who really is an individual on the cusp of history and mythology. He's almost like, if you like, King Arthur. Was he real, was he not? Who lived in Ireland and died probably about 450 AD, was a slaver, was a high king, probably was a fairly ruthless individual.
Niall had 8 sons who each established successful dynasties in their own right, and each inherited the distinctive genetic marker from Niall, and they in turn passed it to their sons and down the generations to today.
This is one of the oldest descents from antiquity known, that where you can actually use some sort of tracing back to an individual. It's 1500 years ago. It's a long time in genealogy.
Genetics sometimes throws up surprising results. The O'Donnell clan of Donegal are reputed to be the descendants of one of the sons of Niall of the 9 Hostages. There are still plenty of O'Donnells, of course, in Donegal. But what would be the chance of picking one of those O'Donnells at random, checking their DNA, and finding a direct link to Niall of the 9 Hostages? How are you?
Oh boy, how are you?
Very good.
Good to see you.
It's great to be up in O'Donnell country.
Yes, in wild, windy O'Donnell country.
But now we're finding out, are you really in O'Donnell?
Oh, I'm the real deal.
A few weeks ago, I took a sample of Daniel's DNA for analysis. And the result? Well, I can now confirm that yes, Daniel is of royal stock and a direct descendant of Niall of the 9 Hostages.
I think now that I know I was right all the time, you see, to be a wee bit cocky.
You were the king.
Oh, sure I could. I probably would go for some kind of elevated status now that I know I have that I have the full title. You wouldn't know where I'll go. I might take over the whole 6 counties.
And did you know much about Niall of the 9 Hostages?
I no, other than that he was the father of O'Neill and O'Donnell.
And if I had told you that you were really an O'Doherty, would that have been devastating?
Well, it would have been a bit disappointing now, because we do blow the trumpet a bit, you know, the O'Donnells. When you're O'Donnell, you're O'Donnell.
Finding the DNA of Niall of the Nine Hostages has lifted a semi-mythical figure out of the shadows of history. In a sense, he's come alive. But Niall's a mere 1,600 years back. What can DNA tell us about our ancestors from perhaps 20,000 years ago?